Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I am taking a look at Jay from JayzTwoCents. He had a $500 PC that he recently parted together and actually tested out. But his $500 PC was a little different than most we see around the TechTuber space, and that is that it was a full setup. So it included a monitor, it included peripherals, everything. So it was a gaming setup ready to go. Now in that build, he featured a 20-inch monitor, at least I believe it's a 20-inch monitor from Scepter, as well as an AMD 2200G based system with 8GB of DDR4 RAM. So what I'm going to attempt to do today is not match him blow for blow with new parts, because to me that's a little boring, and really I honestly think he did pretty well with that parts list in general. Instead, I'm going to be using eBay, maybe even Craigslist if I can find something useful there, or maybe some other sites as well like that, to try to put together a full setup but using used parts instead, just to sort of give us some sort of comparison here between what you can do with new parts and spending new parts money versus what you can do on the used market, and see if we can do much better on that used market. So let's go ahead and go try to find some used parts, and we'll probably start with eBay. Oh, but before we go, links as always are in the description down below. Okay, to get started, since we are doing a full setup here today, I'm actually going to start with the Windows key, because that's really not something that I can negotiate on. So I'm going to go ahead and use eBay, because I've used this several times to actually find really cheap Windows keys. I think I even have a video about that. But we're just going to take a look at Windows 10 keys, and we're going to try to find one that looks pretty cheap. So this right now has 75 of these keys sold with 100% buyer satisfaction. If you're just looking for a Windows 10 home license, you're going to be paying approximately $5.28 for that. So we're going to go ahead and round that up just to be on the safe side and make that $6 US. So that's going to be our starting point. Now we can actually get started with the components that we're going to be looking for here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and start with a monitor. So I don't know about you guys, but I really like the 27-inch form factor. So I am actually going to go with a 27-inch monitor here, and see if I can't find some good prices on one, and I'm really not seeing a whole lot that's great right now, to be honest. Now, since I didn't find any really good 27-inch monitors, which is the same size of the monitor that my 1440p daily driver is, I dropped it down to 24 inches, and it looks like I found one here that is only $80 with shipping. Now, there's only one left. So if I wait around too much, I wouldn't be able to buy it, but since I'm not actually putting this system together anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and add in that $80. Now this is a 1080p panel, so we're getting 1920 by 1080p, a full 24-inch diagonal. That's up from the 20-inch diagonal if you were watching Jay's video that he had with his Scepter model. However, I'm sure this is just a 60 hertz panel. He did have a 75 hertz panel, so a little bit of a trade-off there. Oh wait, it's only $79.99. Minus 0.01. Now, last but not least, I do want to do a mouse and keyboard combo, but I'm actually going to go over to Amazon for this, because mice and keyboards are something that you want to be 100% functional. And the thing about used keyboards and mice is that they may be hammered on a lot, because it's one of those things that you're interacting with constantly. I just really prefer brand new peripherals. So I'm just going to find a relatively cheap, hopefully a gaming combo with a keyboard and a mouse for not too much money. So what I'm actually going to go with, now that I've looked through some of these mice keyboard combos, I'm going to go with this LED backlit wired gaming keyboard with a mouse pad included. Now, I'm sure the mouse is nothing great. The keyboard actually looks like it might be okay. I mean, this is a very entry level type of keyboard and mouse combo. This will get you up and running, but it's one of those things, once you have the disposable income for a better mouse, that's probably something that I would actually recommend. But that's $22.98. And now that we're at $108.97, this is where we start breaking apart from the sort of J format of looking at individual components. We're actually going to be trying to find a base system here on eBay that is cheap enough for us to have some upgradability with hopefully buying a dedicated graphics card, for instance. So I'm actually going to go back to my old tried and true. I'm going to look for a Dell Optiplex, because you can get these things in i5 variants. From the second, third, fourth generation. We're going to be looking for third generation i5s and newer, but already with a hard drive and already with RAM, a power supply that will support a graphics card, everything else you'll need all ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and look for those Optiplexes. Now I'm gonna start with looking for 4th generation i5. So we're trying to find a Haswell generation chip here, and right off the bat we actually have a Dell Optiplex 9020 with an i5 4570. 8 gigabytes of RAM, 500 gigabyte hard drive. We're gonna keep this one in mind. We're actually just gonna open that in another tab because that might actually be a pretty good deal off the bat. So I actually went and backtracked to the 3rd generation looking for i7s, looking for a better deal here. And we actually have this Dell Optiplex 9010. This is with a quad core, an i7 3770, but of course hyper-threading. So we're getting 8 threads on this thing. It has no hard drive though. And obviously, because it has no hard drive, it also has no operating system. Though it may have a key, we're not going to rely on that because we already picked up a $6 Windows 10 license anyways. But I'm going to go ahead and factor this in. So we're going to pay $180, and you'll notice that this is free shipping, so we don't have to worry about shipping costs at all. So $180 for the base system, but now we have to go and find storage for it. So right now we're at $288.97, but we still need storage and we still need a graphics card to really make this thing a little bit of a beast. So now we are actually right back on Amazon, and we're going to be picking up this Western Digital bulk hard drive. This is a 7200 RPM 1 terabyte drive. And the reason I like to get new drives is really simple. Hard drives, like keyboards and mice, they can be beat up over time. Eventually, hard drives will all fail. It's just a matter of how long they'll last. Some of them last a very long time, obviously, and some of them don't last a great long time. But I feel like I can give this system the most longevity possible by go ahead and getting a brand new hard drive. And that's what I'm doing here for $39.75. So now a really quick recap here. We have a Dell Optiplex 9010 with a 3rd generation i7 3770. We have 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, and now we have a 1 terabyte hard drive. So we have everything in this system ready to go, as well as a 24-inch 1080p monitor and peripherals. The only thing we're actually needing now is a graphics card, and we've left ourselves nearly $200 to get that graphics card. So we're gonna go and start looking on eBay and see just what we can get for about $172. Now, this is where the Dell Optiplex base system actually does not serve us very well, and that is in the graphics card department, because these power supplies, first of all, they don't have a peripheral connector, so you have to use some sort of adapter to get from like maybe a SATA to a 6-pin PCIe, which I've done with GTX 1060s and these Dell Optiplexes before, or you can go the route of just replacing the power supply altogether, which could cost $20 or $30. Now, I'm looking at GTX 970s here, and while the price may be within our price range, the problem with these 970s is they're just too power hungry to actually fit in these Optiplexes. In addition to the fact that I have a couple of these Optiplexes, and you really have to watch the length of your graphics card on these. So these 970s and these 900 series cards in general are actually kind of out for this particular system. So I just came across these GTX 1050 Ti's. These are EVGA's SSC gaming cards, and I would not recommend these. Even though it fits us in our price range, adding the $170 actually keeps us just underneath the $500 price point. My problem with this particular card right now is that I'm almost 100% sure that these were mining cards. And the reason is you're looking at a seller that has, 5 of them. So I'm pretty confident these cards were probably used for mining, so I would go ahead and pass on these. Although I did check with these particular EVGA cards, they are 9 inches in length, and because I have a couple of these Optiplex systems, I do know that these cards would have in fact fit in this system without a problem. So if you find one of these cards for a good price and you're sort of recreating this build, this actually would be a pretty good option. Instead, I actually came across a different GTX 1050 Ti, one that's actually about the same cost anyways. After shipping, it's barely more. With shipping, we're just under $172, which is perfect for our price point. But what I like about this card is that it's a seller selling one card. And the other thing I like about it is there's actually an explanation of why this card is being upgraded, because the seller actually got a better power supply. They're upgrading their computer in general. Now, it's completely plausible that this seller is actually lying, and maybe this card was used for mining, but I have a lot more confidence that this card was not used for mining compared to a seller that's selling 5 identical EVGA cards. So I would go ahead and pick up this card. It's for after shipping, which we will include in the price. We're going to add $171.80. And that brings us to a grand total, and this is before tax, by the way, and depending on the territory, you may or may not have to deal with added sales tax or that sort of thing, but that brings us to $500.52 for the entire system. So sure, we're a can of pop and a couple pennies over our $500 budget, but I am almost 100% sure that anybody spending $500 on a computer and an entire gaming setup could find 52 cents laying around somewhere, or just on the street corner looking for quarters. So that is our system. Now to run back over it just really quickly to see what we got here. We got this Dell Optiplex with an i7-3770. We have a GTX 1050 Ti, which yes, will absolutely dominate a 2200G. Of course, you don't have the same upgradability that Jay's computer did have because it's a Ryzen-based system. You could upgrade that thing clear to a Ryzen 7 system. That's one of the sacrifices we're making here to get better performance right off the bat with the used market. However, again, we had a 24-inch monitor. We have 1 terabyte of storage for games. We have a keyboard, a mouse combination. Those are brand new. The hard drive is brand new. This system, provided that everything that's used comes in working order, and if it does, of course, you have your eBay buyer protection. You can at least get your money back. But provided that everything comes in working order, this would be a great starter PC for somebody that's just trying to get into PC gaming and actually needs every bit of the setup. The only part of the setup that I didn't give you here is the chair and the table that you might need to actually put the setup on. So everything is here for right at $500. You can still get into PC gaming for a relatively cheap price point, and I think that's a great thing in 2018. So that's the used comparison to the new $500 computer that Jay from JayzTwoCents put together. And again, I'll leave links to everything relevant in the description down below. So that's my build, but as always, I'm curious what you guys think of this thing. Let me know in the comments down below what you would change, what you might do differently, maybe some other used parts that you found recently that have been better prices, or maybe even just really worse prices. I mean, if you want to say what a bad deal you got, hey, go for it. Leave those comments down below. And of course, if you like this content and you want to see more of it, give it a like, share, subscribe. All those things are very helpful to the channel. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Hoosier Hardware. And as always, I'll let YouTube queue up a couple more videos from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.